Today, we're going to talk about music.
Don't do this.
Mom!
Changing color makes you waste away. Just paint your eyes with a vivid mind.
Hello, welcome to another episode of This Guy Edits, where you get to see this guy edit. Today, I'd like to talk about editing with music. Should you put the music in before you start editing, or should you cut a scene dry and put the music in afterwards? This is obviously a scene that is highly influenced by the emotional charge of the music.
Building mountains in disguise. And I'll be keeping secrets till I'm in the crowd.
Should you first cut the scene, make sure all the dialogue works, all the performances are there, the way you want it, you pick the right shots, you pick the right moments, and then you put in a piece of music afterwards. Or should you start off with the music first and cut to the beat of the music? There are two opposing views in the world of editing. They are what I would call the purists, who like to cut scenes dry. They will sometimes even not listen to the dialogue. They will turn off the audio completely, and they will just visually start cutting a scene and putting it together and deciding what is the best moments, just visually. But that's the extreme. Most of the purists really just cut straight dialogue. And then on the other end, you will have people that love to cut to music, who will determine the flow, the pacing, the entire emotional arc of a scene with the music. When I started out as an editor, I was one of those guys. I would get jobs and start cutting away to just music that I found. And it was very effective. I got a lot of instant credit for cutting interesting scenes because the music sort of took them somewhere. Then as I progressed and I learned from other editors, I fairly quickly realized that most of the professional editors stay away from music at all. So then for a while I would adapt that style of editing, and I would also just cut scenes straight. But soon I would realize I am not fully exploring the creative, unpredictable possibilities. With music, something else is triggered that will take a scene into a different direction. And there is some universal truth to the pacing of music. Now I'm actually at a point where I do both. I really do a back and forth. I will cut scenes purely based on the footage, the dialogue, and I notice that I'm editing in a more rational way. But then also at some points I get bored with that. If I don't know where I want the scene to go, I let the music take me. And I will just put a random piece of music in there. And it immediately elevates the scene to something unexpected. I would say if I'm cutting straight without music, I probably am more predictable as a storyteller. I certainly wouldn't want to say you should do one thing over the other. For me, I've learned to cut straight and then play a little. Let the scene be discovered, be open for happy accidents. When you stumble upon a mistake, something that you didn't intend to do, but it starts to work, it triggers an idea that actually then becomes a solid concept. That piece of music, by the way, it's by a great artist called Max Alto. When I typed in Shadows, his song came up, Shadow of the Sun, and I started listening to it, and I thought, that kind of really works. And I checked out some of his other music, and he's really an amazing artist. So I hope I'm not going to get copyrighted in this episode by playing this. I'm going to put a link to his music and to his YouTube channel in the description, so go check him out. But I'm going to show you the scene one more time without music. I'm just going to take off the music. I'm just going to mute it.
Don't do this.
Mom!
So even though you don't hear any sound right now, so we could put in some bar sounds in there right now. We could even possibly hear what they're saying there. But it still kind of works, even without the music. There's still something happening here that works as a story. And I would have never been able to cut the scene the way it is working right now without first putting music in, because there is some universal truth in there, and it doesn't come from me directly, it comes from the music and the way that I respond to the music. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear how you attack scenes musically. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, or comment. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, share, and like. If you like this episode, don't do anything. Just move on.